It's time once again for another PLE preview, and in this preview, we're going to be taking a look at King and Queen of the Ring held in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Now, looking at the match card, pretty much every match is for a title, even though the King and Queen of the Ring finals are technically not for a title. At least they're worth something. So I'm basically going to say that every match on this card is for a title. And with that being said, I don't think WWE changes a whole lot. Considering that we still are very early on in this new era that WWE keeps harping on, I think they may play this one a little bit safe in terms of any major titles changing hands. There was talks about maybe another doubles champion. We'll get to that, but before we get on to the match card, keep in mind that these are not going to be in order most likely. I know I say that every time, but I feel like it needs said. These aren't going to be in order most likely. Starting off with Cody Rhodes taking on Logan Paul for the undisputed WWE Championship. Let me start by this. The build-up for this match, I think, had a lot of WWE fans on edge because they kept talking about it being for both the undisputed WWE Championship and the United States Championship. And I think we can all agree that nobody wants to see another double champion. Nobody. It caused WWE issues in the past with Roman Reigns, and it probably will again in the future. So I'm glad that WWE smartened up and didn't end up making it a double title match. With all that being said, I think Cody Rhodes wins and retains. I think it can be said that Logan Paul has earned every right to be in a title match like this, given his commitment to the business and kind of reimagining what a celebrity WWE superstar looks like. I think Logan deserves the opportunity, and I think his run as US champion has been very solid so far. However, I just don't see him beating Cody Rhodes in this scenario. Cody Rhodes retains. Moving right along to the Women's World Championship match between Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. And let me start with this. If you did not see the recent video that was uploaded on this channel, my theory with Liv Morgan and the reoccurring kind of background segments between her and Dominic Mysterio, I think it's going to lead to something bigger, and I think it starts here. I think Liv Morgan wins, becomes the Women's World Champion, and maybe, just maybe, she ends up joining Judgment Day now that she does have the title. Again, I think that would progress the rivalry between her and Rhea Ripley even further while Rhea Ripley is still out. I talked about it in the video that they need to keep progressing the rivalry and the storyline there. And I think they're doing that with these backstage segments between Liv and Dom. And I think Liv beating Becky and becoming the Women's World Champion, I think just adds gasoline to the fire. And I think it'll be that extra little step that this rivalry is going to need while Rhea Ripley is again hurt. So with all that being said, I think Liv Morgan wins. Moving along to the Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, and Big Bronson Reed. Sami Zayn has a really good story coming into this match. Chad Gable has a very good story coming into this match, probably the best out of the three. And then Bronson Reed is just kind of there. I never really understood why they added Bronson into the match. I get, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a shot. He does. But I think the storyline between Sami and Chad had so much more meat on it, and I don't think it needed Bronson in the mix. I think Sami Zayn wins and retains the IC title, and I would not be surprised at all if it's because Otis comes in and costs Chad Gable the match. I think what we saw in the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw, when the crowd was going absolutely insane for Otis, I think turning him back into a heel would be such a bad move by WWE. Otis is very over right now. People apparently really want to see him versus Chad, it seems like, so why not start that rivalry off? But even if Otis doesn't get involved, I still think that that's something that is very well on the table and very well could happen soon, but it may or may not happen here. We'll have to watch and find out, obviously. But Sami Zayn retains the IC title. Finally, the two matches that this PLE is basically all about. We'll start with the Queen of the Ring match between Bianca Belair and Lyra Valkyria. I think WWE has done a really good job in building up Lyra Valkyria coming up from NXT, giving her matches against pretty big names in the company. I think out of all the NXT call-ups, I think she has an argument for the best start to her main roster career simply because of the matches that she's been getting and the results that she's been getting. Unfortunately for her, I think Bianca wins. I don't see Lyra beating Bianca in any fashion. Even if they continue the narrative of Bianca being injured, we've seen Bianca win while being injured before. Why would that change now? So I think Bianca will win and become Queen of the Ring because I know that it's already going to be talked about. If this does happen, if Bianca does win, I know it's going to be said that, oh my god, they're burying Lyra. No. Her losing to Bianca Belair does not bury her. If anything, if they do the match correctly, I think it has the potential to make her into a bigger star than it would her simply just winning. Bianca Belair wins and becomes the Queen of the Ring. And last but not least, we have the King of the Ring final between Gunther and the winner of Randy Orton and Tama Tonga. Regardless of who wins between Randy Orton and Tama Tonga, I think it's Randy. I think Gunther inevitably beats either one of them. We'll start off with Randy versus Tama Tonga. I think Randy will defeat Tama Tonga simply because I don't see Tama Tonga versus Gunther making any sense at all. I do think Randy Orton defeats Tama Tonga and moves on to the finals to take on Gunther. And again, I don't think Gunther is losing. I think the title of King of the Ring was Gunther's from the minute he announced that he was in the tournament. I think he makes the most sense. And if we go back to a previous video on the channel where I stated what I wanted to see from the King of the Ring, I wanted to see it mean something. And I said that Gunther would make the most sense because we saw what he did for the Intercontinental Championship when he held the title. Taking a title that wasn't necessarily seen as a major prize on WWE TV, turning it into something that is highly valued once again. And I think that Gunther is the perfect candidate to win this thing. I think he was from the very beginning. And in case you missed it, Triple H announced earlier that the winners of King and Queen of the Ring are going to get a title shot. And this is what I was talking about. It needed to mean something. This means something. It's not just going to be Gunther walking around with a crown calling him King Gunther. It finally means something again. And this is what it needed. So with all of that being said, I think Gunther wins, regardless of if it's Randy Orton or Tama Tonga. And let me say this, Randy Orton's my all-time favorite WWE superstar. Like, I want to see Randy win, but I think it's Gunther's to lose. That's going to do it for this PLE preview. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I want to hear your opinion. Do you agree with my picks? Do you not agree with my picks? Let me know in the comments. In the description down below is a link to the Linktree page, which has all of our links on it here. I highly recommend going on X. I think that's probably where I'm most active. We post updates on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown as the episode goes. So if you think you'll enjoy that, I highly recommend you checking those out. But that's all for this one. We'll see you next time.